It's you and I verse. We're gonna do a video on the sun inside. Pardon me. The moon is Sagittarius and the sun in Aquarius, right? So the sun being in Aquarius right now is a sextile to the moon being in Sagittarius. So with the moon being in Sagittarius is a mutable fire sign, being able to adapt to one's visions and pardon me, reacting and responding to being able to adapt to one's visions or other people's ways of seeing things. So it's like seeing. So Sagittarius is the sight of the zodiac. So with that being said, the moon being here, so you react and respond to knowledge, wisdom, experience, travel through in the mind, or even in an actual reality. So this will be a time that you feel comfortable traveling to another state, feel comfortable traveling, for a business meeting, this, that, and third. I'm gonna do me a little music that I haven't dropped before. You see what I'm saying? Drop it on your head tops. I'm gonna be releasing this here soon.
Back in overdrive, tantalizing, 10 toes with Edison, enterprising, my eyes on the prize within. Back in overdrive, tantalizing, 10 toes with Edison, enterprising, my eyes on the prize within. Face get cut like incisions, back by your vengeance. Splinter cell, moving silence, the finest. Minted is so real, real stitch in it, sword dripping. Due to deep incisions, all I focus on is the beginning. See ISIS, future leaders bring revelations, apocalypse
To the common tip,
that hustler's grit. The shit's so ill, it's like
a fiend asking for another pill.
in this vicinity. Real my plaques, I see them through 'em like wet shirts. Clear as Visine, eyes rolling back, wet work when we move in.
Back in overdrive,
Tantalizing, 10 toes with
Edison enterprising.
my eyes on the prize and zen. My eyes on the prize and zen. Back in overdrive, tantalizing, 10 toes with Edison enterprising. Eyes on the prize with zen.
Eyes on the prize and sin.
Leaving foes delirious, legalize the first step. Monument when I'm leaving the planet. Sheep hear this, ear buzzing, cranium damaged. Enemies,
Get vasectomy.
spitting venomous poison.
You
Though I
heard?
love to see us happy, everybody in the crowd wanna hit. Pass it in hell, you in the moment. Keep your mind still. Merry-go-round, merry-go-round. Get some more to spill the truth through a vow. Critics getting serious. They talk about it while I lived it. And we already lifted. Tantalizing thought into actions like enterprising. Levels to the shit. Rabbit hole go deep. I know on the journey. My feet and your feet get weak. There's levels to this consciousness. To this conscious shift.
Alright. We're not gonna go no further with the music, you know what I'm saying? But that's a joint that I'm gonna drop here soon. But yeah, so with the moon being in Sagittarius in the natal chart, this is one individual that can feel comfortable expressing, with knowledge and wisdom. So, right, they feel comfortable reading a lot of books to kind of attain their knowledge and wisdom, or they feel comfortable experiencing something before just talking about it. They're opposite Gemini. So Gemini would rather speak about it and speak to another individual, and the Sagittarius would rather just experience it and they say, okay, I know how this works because I experienced it. So like I said, this is the knowledge and wisdom sign. So in the natal chart, this is an individual that feels comfortable teaching you something. This is an individual that feels comfortable maybe experiencing a lecture, going to, their kind of money will go towards knowledge and wisdom. That's what they feel comfortable with, you see what I'm saying? That's just an example. And if the transit in the sky, this will be a time to, if your knowledge and wisdom, analyze your knowledge and wisdom. See if you're reacting and responding the right way to the knowledge and wisdom that you've actually received and things like that. So, and your way of travel, your way of experiencing life. You see what I mean? Are you broadening your horizons? Like, are you expanding to then contract? You see what I'm saying? Or are you overexerting yourself and then you can't really contract properly? Or are you not expanding enough and you're only contracting, you're getting smaller and smaller? Like, for example, this is a real life example with your body, see what I'm saying? So if you tend to eat more, your body will actually expand, you see what I'm saying? And your stomach metabolizes, not as fast, you see what I'm saying? So the more you eat over time, the more your body can intake, and the less you'll say, "Oh, I'm full." But with the less food you eat, the faster you'll get full. You see what I'm saying? So your stomach will actually shrink, and it'll actually metabolize faster, not more fast. You see what I'm saying? But it'll metabolize faster. So like that's a real life example of expansion and contraction. So like I say with this in the transiting chart, are you actually expanding to the fullest extent, or are you just only contracting? You know what I'm saying? You want to have that equilibrium and do both though. So like a perfect example is you expand in the new moon, and then you tend to contract on the full moon and make sure you're satisfied. This, that, and the third. Like I say, with the transiting chart, this is the time to maybe have a lecture or have people travel to a destination to actually impart knowledge and wisdom. This is a good time for that. So in the first house, this will be a personal affair, an individual that is reacting and responding to their own personal knowledge and wisdom, the way that they personally deal with imparting knowledge and wisdom and teaching, so to speak. And then with the sun in Aquarius, this would be the sun being in your third house. If you're in Sag rising, unless you have misplaced houses. If you have the misplaced houses, then that's a different story. Then you think about the Aquarius in that third house. This is, are you able to impart your knowledge and wisdom and actually teach your environment? So, you see what I'm saying? So, if you're able to teach your environment, then you're on the higher octave. If you're on the lower octave, your personal knowledge and wisdom is actually not being able to be expressed. Like, you're not reacting and responding to the environment's knowledge and wisdom in their ladder scale. This is a time to adapt to other people's ways of seeing the world. So, like, your environment's going to feel comfortable with that knowledge and wisdom, but if you're not actually able to impart it to them correctly, you're not really a good teacher, and that's the lower octaves. You need to learn maybe more tactics of how to teach and how to orate. You see what I'm saying? So then the second house, this will be pardon me, but if you, like I said, first house you're on the higher octave, you're able to teach your environment. So that's where you're working towards with the Sagittarius in the first house. Sagittarius in the second house. So this will be your values, the person, place, thing, or idea. So you're valuing your knowledge and wisdom of a person. You're valuing the knowledge and wisdom of a place. You see what I'm saying? Maybe you go to the zoo and you want to learn more about the animals. You see what I'm saying? What they look like, this, that, and the third, their actual natures. All right, that's understandable. You see what I'm saying? That's hey, everybody's got a different view on how the actual, the particulars of how animals are treated, this, that, and the third. But if you're just trying to learn, hey, that's part of our world. You could actually look into that and actually learn more about the animals. You see what I'm saying? So if you value the zoo, you see what I'm saying? This would be a time to, you see what I'm saying, travel to the zoo. You feel comfortable learning about the animals, or maybe even you just go on the internet and learn more about a particular animal and their actual habits, this, that, and the third. So this will be a time to value your person, place, or thing. You see what I'm saying? Or idea. So like I say, you maybe just have that idea and you want to travel in the mind about the difference between a hyena and a lion. And boom, that's just a good time to be learning your knowledge and wisdoms. And then this will be in the sun in the fourth house. This will be like your group setting. So like Aquarius is the group sign, the humanitarian sign. So in the fourth house, this will be, are you able to, do you actually value your knowledge and wisdom enough to actually bring your private emotion out and actually share your heart with your, share your heart with your group kind of thing. So, or in the home, are you able to teach people about what you value and how it's actually benefiting you, and you learning more about these animalistic natures are actually helping you to learn more about how actual humans operate, and you're teaching your family about it, this, that, and the third. So the fourth house is the family. So your private space, this, that, and the third. The individuals that are close to your heart, or the spaces that are close to your heart, I mean to say. So on the higher octave, you're able to teach people that are close to your heart and about things that you value and how it's benefiting you and how this knowledge and wisdom is actually helping you out. And on the lower octave, people are seeing that, your knowledge and wisdom is actually not really helping you. And maybe if you got good family around you, got good people close to your heart, they're going to tell you this knowledge and wisdom is wacky, this, that, and the third. I was about to bring in a whole other thing. But hey, we're going to leave some things alone that's going on in the shadow government world. So on the lower octave, your knowledge and wisdom is actually not helping your family out. You're actually not able to bring people's vibration up, so they can't learn more about where they're actually coming from. You see what I'm saying? And you can't really teach your group of people that are close to your heart. That's on the lower octave. And the way to get better at this, maybe you actually need to learn more about how to be more of what's the word? What's the phrase I'm looking for? Emotionally intelligent. So like be able to actually have a fact behind the emotion behind what you're saying. Is you bring in the emotions and the logic into it. So you're actually using your fire and water along with your air and earth. So I'm saying you want to combine the elements so that way you actually have a fullness whenever you bring that sun out, that action, and with your privacy and and people that are close to your heart. So then, like I said, in the higher octave, you're able to teach people about what you value, and this will actually bring the people that are close to your heart. You know, what I mean, to a further place. Like Aquarius is that fixed air, so you're able to bring people to another conversation or another space in their mind or another thought. Sometimes it's better in this room, so I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do my best. Let me go finish this out. Okay, so yeah. We were on the third house. So this is your environment. So this is the knowledge and wisdom. So in your environment, you're reacting and responding to the knowledge and wisdom in your environment. So the people, actual, like where they're at on the ladder scale. So this is a time to actually see, okay, where is this, what is this person's worldview? That'd be the first kind of thing you could look for. If they don't have a worldview, okay, boom, they're on the higher part of the ladder scale, and they're actually able to utilize, like, okay, you utilize different worldviews to actually attribute to the main idea of what they've got going on. This is a good individual in the environment with the Sagittarius moon. So you're actually able to bring that knowledge and wisdom and feel comfortable with their knowledge and wisdom and bring it to a higher space, right? So this is third house environment, feeling comfortable with the knowledge and wisdom of your environment. So like, for example, if your job isn't really actually bringing you to a higher mental space, then you see what I'm saying, maybe you need to switch up the job. So I mean, so get a better environment. Or even if you walk outside your door and you don't feel like, oh, okay, I'm not exactly, like I say, the other example I was given was expanding and contracting. If you're not expanding your environment, expanding the spaces that you go to, then this is a time to expand your environment. You know what I mean? Maybe go to different spaces to actually get more knowledge and wisdom. You see what I'm saying? So this is either feeling comfortable with the knowledge and wisdom that you're attaining in your environment on the higher octave. On the lower octave, you feel uncomfortable with the knowledge and wisdom you're attaining. You just keep on contracting. You're not really learning too much. You see what I'm saying? So, and then with the sun in Aquarius, this will be with it in the fifth house. So are you able to express fifth house action, sun in Aquarius, the group setting? Are you able to express the knowledge and wisdom that you have gained throughout your times in the environment? Are you able to express that fifth house? Are you able to put that on the stage? You see what I'm saying? Are you actually able to express to the group the knowledge and wisdom that you've attained through different environments and through different groups? You see what I'm saying? Expressing yourself different ways. You see what I'm saying? This will be the time for that. This is why it's opposite. It's the Libra rising, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so you think about the Sag. Yeah, okay. So you have knowledge and wisdom that you're reacting and responding to, and the ways of your traveling in the mind are actually in reality. You can actually bring people to that. You see what I'm saying? You're not actually kind of able to bring that group setting into your expression. So the way that you express yourself is actually kind of, like it's like a toxic environment. You see what I'm saying? So the knowledge and wisdom that you express is kind of all about yourself. You see what I'm saying? So this is why it's opposite here. So like you have this way of thinking and you want to express that, but whenever you express that, you kind of just make people feel like, wait, I'm not even really learning anything. We're just kind of just babbling. You're just talking. You see what I'm saying? So you actually want to have a real knowledge and wisdom and way of going about your environment. So like this is where that Sagittarius element comes in. I want to have that knowledge and wisdom to actually, go about your environment and know how to deal with a certain individual and know, okay, this is how this individual ticks, so I need to go about it in this way. Third house, environment, how you act around other individuals and seeing how you react around other individuals. So then in turn, how you express yourself in that certain group, you see what I'm saying? It's going to be Gemini-like. Just keep that in mind. But, stay solid in that certain group, that you're working with. Just stay the same in that certain group, and don't go changing up your face, Libra. Fourth house, this is Sagittarius in the fourth house. Feeling comfortable with the knowledge of wisdom, the heart space. So the knowledge of wisdom that's actually in your heart. So like what you feel most comfortable reacting and responding to. The people that are close to your heart. The knowledge and wisdom that they have, you're able to react and respond to it. Okay, it's bringing me to a higher octave. You see what I'm saying? So the knowledge and wisdom and our way of what's the word I'm looking for? Transportation in the mind, or traveling, I'm going to say, the way of traveling in the mind, or even in the actual reality, these people make me feel comfortable. Like, okay, my parents, my family can actually get me to that event. I'm actually able to learn more things whenever I go to, you know what I'm saying? So, for a perfect example, your parents put you in T-ball, and now you're a pro baseball player, and you're like, oh, wow, man. My parents being able to travel to each and every game and get me to the game, boom, okay, this is really helping me out, this, that, and the third. And this is the reason why I'm a pro baseball player now, because my parents took that time to actually, you know, travel in the actual reality to that game. The people that are close to my heart, they helped me travel. The knowledge and wisdom they had was like to get me to that game, you see what I'm saying? Or if you're a person with a degree, for example, your parents paying for that college, or your parents urging you to have good grades, this is a time that you're going to feel comfortable with the knowledge and wisdom that they've given you. So I'm saying a higher octave. Lower octave, you feel uncomfortable with what you're reacting, responding, knowledge and wisdom wise. Like you feel like you keep on contracting, you're not actually learning anything. So with that being said, the actual sixth house details your routine and pattern, your actions is Aquarius. So your routine and pattern and the way that your actions are going about now, if you're on that lower octave, the way that you're going about your group and your actual group health, like the way that you're going about reacting and responding to the people in the fourth house, then you in turn have those actions that are detrimental to the group health. You see what I'm saying? So like that Aquarius sixth house is you're putting a routine and pattern that's unhealthy, this, that, and the third. So you're saying like, oh, you know what I mean, they might have got me to the game, but you know, my parents didn't take enough time to throw the ball with me, so I didn't get good enough. Like this, that, and the third, you kind of like take it out on people that you're close to. You like say like, oh, your knowledge and wisdom didn't get me to the right space. The details that you gave me, you see what I'm saying, that are close to my heart, they didn't actually get me to that echelon space. That would put you in that lower octave. So to rectify this would be, you know what? Hey, the knowledge and wisdom that I have is the knowledge and wisdom that I have. Be satisfied with what you got. You see what I'm saying? And say like, look, okay, this is who I used to be, and I've already gone so far. For example, if you even watching this video type shit, you clicked on this video on some real shit, you kind of like already out of that lower octave space in a way. If we're thinking about the fourth house, the people that are close to you and the knowledge and wisdom that's close to you, you already kind of accepted like, hey, okay, this is kind of where I'm at. Maybe I need to learn more about myself. So this is a good time to be learning more about astrology. So you think about it as like a double Jupiterian alignment. The fourth house is birth Cancer, and Cancer is exalted in Jupiter. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, pardon me, other way around. So you think about that, and then you have a Sagittarius here, which is ruled by Jupiter. So then it being in the fourth house, this would be a time to be like, you know what, hey, this knowledge and wisdom that I attained, I needed to actually have all these spaces that were difficult to actually develop this tough skin and way to actually react and respond to the people that are close to me. Hey, you know what, they actually do make me feel comfortable. They needed to, you know, kind of maybe give me some tough love to actually get me to the right detail and the right way of having a good routine and pattern that actually is healthy. So I actually had to develop that tough skin to be able to look at a comment and say, hey, you know what, that actually, it doesn't make my heart feel good, but you know what I mean? People that are close to me, I'm expanding. So like, just due to having a hater, that, you know what, hey, it's a philosophy that people have. You gotta have, you know, people just got haters. That's the way it is. If you got haters, you kind of going somewhere. You see what I'm saying? Somebody really taking all that energy to actually put it out towards you and, you know, subscribe to you, but not actually click on your videos. Like, hey, that's some hater shit. You know what I mean? Like, if you really don't like my videos, just unsubscribe, and that way I know, like, oh, okay, maybe I'm going somewhere that I don't like, or someone that just like give you some fake likes or fake love. You see what I'm saying? This would be like people that are close to your heart, love. You see what I'm saying? So you just want to see what your group is actually doing to you. So I'm saying the way that your group is acting, like, is it actually healthy for you? Is it healthy for other individuals as well? So I'm saying this is kind of a time to like advance. What's the word I'm looking for? Like do some research on your groups and the way that your like, people are making you feel as well. And then so like if you're on that lower octave, just know where you're at and say like, okay, I can attain more knowledge and wisdom, but I've already gone so far. So then with the higher octave, like I say, you're able to actually have the new detail of knowledge and wisdom. And maybe you got to get in some people's face and say, hey, look, what I mean? The way that we're doing this group and the way it's making me feel and react and respond is very unhealthy. So I'm saying we need to change some things up. We need to go over the details and the routine and pattern of what we got going on. We can't be staying up till 4 in the morning every night just drinking Hennessy. So I'm saying we're not actually getting anywhere. You know what I'm saying? For an example. Then with the fifth house, this would be reacting and responding to the knowledge and wisdom. Reacting and responding to your way of traveling in the mind or actually in reality, like say your way of transportation. So this is the time to actually put that on the stage. So, okay, am I reacting and responding to my car? You see what I'm saying? Am I looking at the if I'm looking at the lights, do I know what all the lights mean? You see what I'm saying? What does the little exclamation mark mean? I don't mean to, if y'all are driving right now, I don't mean to, bring some bad juju on you, but I'm saying like, you should know what each and every light on the car means. You know what the check engine light type shit like that. You know what the little genie lamp looks like. That's the oil. You should be reacting and responding to what you got on the stage. You know what I'm saying? So if that's what you're doing today, the main thing is your car and you're driving, you see what I'm saying? You want to have the knowledge and wisdom about your car. Like, okay, did I check the oil? Type shit. I'm okay, so I can actually pick everybody up. We actually have that way of reacting and responding to that travel, and okay, we can expand. So I'm on the higher octave now. I'm on the higher octave. I can expand and actually travel with my group. You know what I'm saying? And now we're able to express the knowledge of wisdom of other people. Boom, I'm on the higher octave. You know what I'm saying? But you on the lower octave, you feel uncomfortable reacting and responding to the knowledge of wisdom. You don't know shit about the lights. I'm giving you an example. This is like an allegory. You don't know what the little tire pressure gauge mean. You don't know what the check engine light mean. You don't know what the battery light is. I don't even know what that actually look like at the moment. You don't know what the parking brake mean, that little red light, you know what I'm saying, with the brake thing on there. You don't know what that means, you know what I'm saying? So like you're on the lower octave. So like when you go to start your car and you just like say, hey, fuck it, I got lights on, my shit look like a Christmas tree, that look pretty cool. Oh wow, I ain't never experienced this before. Oh, you flunked out in the fifth house. So whether you expressing yourself is on that lower octave, you know what I'm saying? You don't actually want to learn more, you don't actually want to expand and say, what do these Christmas tree lights look like? What does this mean? You know what I'm saying? Maybe this is the time to learn more about that type shit. The actual behind the scenes, that knowledge and wisdom of things, so after things get rebirthed and see like, oh, that's Sagittarius energy. That knowledge and wisdom. And then with the seventh house, with the sun here, this will be being able to react and respond to your expression. You feel comfortable with the way you express yourself, pretty much. So due to that, if you feel comfortable with the way you express yourself, then you're able to relate on that higher octave. So you're able to relate to your group setting. Your ways relating to other individuals is in this fixed air. So if you're on the higher octave, you're able to actually teach your group about how to express themselves, how to get more money out of their expression, you see what I'm saying? Or how to actually expand more whenever they express themselves, like how to bring them, be like, okay, just because everybody doesn't laugh at your joke doesn't mean it wasn't funny if you're a comedian, for example. Like you telling a joke to somebody like, oh, I want to be a comedian. Well, why don't you laugh at all my jokes? You see what I'm saying? Why are you telling me to be a comedian, but you don't always think I'm funny? Well, hey, look, everybody's not going to think everything is funny all the time. But let's be real, jokes are like therapeutic. Laughing is therapeutic. It's a good thing for you. You see what I'm saying? So like the way that you express yourself is actually helping me in this relationship. So like, oh, okay, I actually know that now. Knowledge and wisdom, Sagittarius. You have that knowledge and wisdom now? Oh, okay. Well, maybe I should be a comedian. It actually does make me feel good too. So then, boom, you expand in your relationship. So due to your expression, you'd be like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that you didn't think I was always funny. I mean, you thought I was always funny, but you didn't always laugh. But you thought it was funny but you was going through some shit, but it was helping you out type shit. Oh, I didn't know that. You see what I'm saying? So now you on the higher octave. So then you related that knowledge and wisdom. Now you're able to expand in your way of expression. So like, okay, maybe now you're going on the stage and actually expressing yourself about your knowledge and wisdom about the world, and it ends up being in a comedic way. People think you Eddie Murphy. You see what I'm saying? Boom. Or people think you Dave Chappelle. All that scandalous. I don't really know what be going on with people in this scandalous shit, but hey, motherfuckers was funny though. All right. And then the sixth house. my bad. If you're on the lower octave in that 5th house, then you need to feel comfortable with your expression and say, hey, you know what? Just because everybody doesn't like what I got to express, some people gonna love me. Somebody gonna love me. Somebody love me. See what I'm saying? So this is your time to maybe get on the internet and kind of express yourself and relate yourself more to more people, and actually just say like, hey, you know what? Just because somebody didn't accept me at that period of time in that relationship doesn't mean my expression isn't good. So boom, just feel comfortable with your expression on that lower octave, and then you got you're planting good seeds for the future. But like I say, if you're on that higher octave, you're able to teach people and relate to other individuals. People are learning something from what you express. That make you feel comfortable because you expanded. You see what I'm saying? And then the 6th house, this will be the knowledge and wisdom, right? So like, pardon me, with the moon in Sagittarius, this would be reacting and responding to your 6th house. This would be your routine and pattern, and then health, like I was kind of describing earlier with the sun being here for the 4th house individual. I don't mean to be, confusing y'all. What I'm explaining now is, so think about the moon being in the 6th house, right? And then this would in turn have your sun in the 8th house, because the moon being in Sagittarius and the sun being in Aquarius, right? So this would be the reacting and responding to the details of your knowledge and wisdom. On the higher octave, the details of your knowledge and wisdom, okay, it's getting you somewhere. I'm actually expanding because of what I actually know in the nitty gritty. My actually way of going about my health, this, that, and the third, I'm actually expanding more. You see what I'm saying? I'm learning more every day because of the way I go about things, my routine and pattern. Maybe, you eat breakfast at a certain period of time, it actually makes you feel real good, and you eat the certain food every day, like maybe you eat some blueberry pancakes, and the blueberry pancakes is like magic for you. You know what I'm saying? You got your music playing in the background, maybe your grandma made them. You know what I'm saying? And it's like she put that grandma love into them, so boom, you got this beautiful health. And then you got all the food groups and all that. You see what I'm saying? Your health is all together. You know all about the knowledge and wisdom, and say, hey, grandma, can you make some blueberries in the pancakes? Because just pancakes alone, that's not really healthy. You see what I'm saying? You have that knowledge and wisdom. You on the higher octave. But if you're on the lower octave, you don't really know shit about your health. You don't know shit about your routine and pattern. You say, hey, I'm just going about life. I'm just living my life. You see what I'm saying? YOLO, flunked out ass. You see what I'm saying? Next life, you're going to be flunked out, just like now. You know what I'm saying? You've been doing the same shit. Same exact shit. You're going to be flunked out, just like before. So, my partner, let me get my charger real fast. Because I moved rooms. Alright. I'll join charger now. So yeah. Routine and pattern, your health. So you feel comfortable reacting and responding to your routine and pattern, your health, of the knowledge and wisdom. So you know about how the body works, so to speak. You know what to intake at certain times. You see what I'm saying? You know how your body works. You say like, okay, if I drink too much cold fluids, I might get a brain freeze. Or if I eat too much ice cream, I know that I might get a brain freeze, for example. If I'm eating some spicy food, then the only way to counteract that is, okay, maybe drink some milk type shit. You know about your routine and pattern in your health. So like you know how your body works. That'd be the higher octave for the 6th house. The lower octave is not having that knowledge and wisdom of what you're reacting and responding to, and like the food that you're putting in your body, you don't even really know what it's actually doing to you. You don't know why certain things are happening. We'll just put it that way. The 6th house could get a little bit gnarly. We'll just put it that way. So in the 8th house, this would be behind the scenes secrets and things that you have sacred to you. So this is like your sacred group, the people that are like the thought patterns that are, if you think about it, Aquarius is a fixed air, so it's like a fixed thought. So like your group is like this certain thought pattern that everybody experiences. So behind the scenes, you're actually able to teach people that you're interacting with behind the scenes. You're like it sounds kind of interesting the way I'm saying it right now. So like you think about it, it's kind of like to a cult. If you think about it, like in a way, like your group that people don't really know about, but you're a part of. You see what I'm saying? This is your behind the scenes group. So your Aquarius 8th house. So like you're able to higher octave, react and respond to the knowledge and wisdom in your routine and pattern and say, okay, I know if I react in this certain way, this group, if I, bring to the forefront. I'm a part of this group. I'm gonna be looked at in this certain knowledge of wisdom, and like that I have this certain knowledge of wisdom. Maybe I shouldn't express that. Maybe I should just kind of look like a sheep, but actually still have this knowledge of wisdom. This would be a time that on the higher octave, you're able to teach other people, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't tell other people everything that you know. You just kind of keep it behind the scenes in that secret group. You see what I'm saying? That secret thought, that secret action. You see what I'm saying? And on the lower octave, you're reacting and responding to the routine and pattern in the health that is kind of unhealthy. You see what I'm saying? So you don't actually know that about anything that's going on. You don't know about how the body works. So in turn, you're in the hospital and nobody really knows about it. You see what I'm saying? You're behind the scenes. You might have had a whole bunch of shit going on. I'm not even going to bring the hospital analogies in. But you had a whole bunch of shit going on and nobody knows about it behind the scenes, so they don't even know about your health. You kind of try to just keep your sixth house. You try to keep your health and your routine and pattern to yourself and say like, hey, no, I know all about how my body works. If I do this, that, and the third, you know what I mean? Nothing bad is gonna happen. So like eating all the candy out. So like, for example, this is a whole left field thing, but like this is an example I could give. Oh, okay, I'm on Halloween. I just got a whole big bag of candy. I'm a little 8-year-old. I'm gonna eat all of it. I'm gonna feel great tomorrow. I'm not gonna feel sick. That'd be a bad way of looking at your routine and pattern. You see what I'm saying? And your health. So like, oh, maybe I should just kind of like ration this kind of thing. Be rational right now. So you feel comfortable reacting and responding to the routine and pattern of expansion. You see what I'm saying? On that higher octave. So you're able to expand other people in your group. You see what I'm saying? Behind the scenes. So like you're able to relate your health and the way you go about things, your routine and pattern to other people. Okay, in the 8th house, that the people behind the scenes, the people that you talk to that nobody else knows about, you're able to say like, yeah, if you go about this in this certain way, kind of look like a sheep, but you still have that knowledge and wisdom, then boom, you can get that real good raise at work, for example. And then with the 7th house, this would be reacting and responding to your relationships, the knowledge and wisdom of your relationships. So do you know your partner? Do you know who you're relating to? Do you know how certain people tick, so to speak? This is a certain time to say like, okay, do I actually know if I relate myself in a certain way that it's gonna, kind of contract my life? If I become Sagittarius and be more like, hey, like I'm here, but I'm there, and I'm a wild card. Like I could do anything at any certain time, and I could say anything. That doesn't really make people feel comfortable in a relationship. So on the lower octave, if you're just kind of being a wild card and you're not actually being able to relate in a certain way with other people that is actually relatable, and I'd like to say you're treating people how you want to be treated, you have that knowledge and wisdom. Okay, maybe you're probably on the higher octave. So then in the 9th house, you have that knowledge and wisdom of your group and who you're relating to and maybe their family. So okay, maybe if I relate to my partner in this certain way, in turn I'm gonna actually relate to their family in this certain way, and the knowledge and wisdom of okay, whenever we travel to their house, that in that 9th house, whenever we take that action, then boom, I'm in turn able to relate to their ladder scale and Sagittarius and their knowledge of wisdom and their way of sight and their way of seeing the world, so to speak. So you feel comfortable reacting and responding to other people's knowledge of wisdom. You're able to actually teach people more just due to a conversation and like actually just relating to other individuals on that higher octave. Lower octave, you're just contracting everybody that you're relating to. You're kind of like a toxic individual. It's like all about you, so to speak. Like the way that you relate to other people is actually giving other people a knowledge of wisdom that's like, wait, like this person maybe look like, for example, if you were looking like you had it all together, and people are like, oh, maybe I should just kind of act like they do, and then people go down that same path. Now you got blood on your hands saying like, oh yeah, this is the right thing to do. I'm doing great, this, that, and the third. This is a time that you're gonna see how other people's knowledge and wisdom has actually like played out in the group and how it's acted out. And like, oh dang, like I did the same thing, and then now they're doing the same thing. And my way of relating was actually kind of contracting people. It wasn't expanding them. So on this higher octave, to get there, you want to say, well, hey, look, this knowledge and wisdom that I have, it maybe makes me feel great all the time, but maybe my financial state isn't always great. So just be aware of that. So kind of give like disclaimers about people that are kind of following your knowledge and wisdom and a part of that group, and the way that you act out that knowledge and wisdom, and the way that you act in that group setting, and the way other people's ways of seeing. So other people's ways of taking that ninth house knowledge and wisdom action, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, you're on this ladder scale, I can relate to you, but in this with this Sagittarius energy now, and say like, look, you know, you might be even doing better than me, so like just kind of do your own thing, like take what I do with a grain of salt, and boom, you kind of put yourself in that higher octave. So then with the eighth house, this would be behind the scenes, secrets, and what is sacred to you. So your sacred knowledge and wisdom. So in turn, this will put you on that 10th house, Aquarius, your group, you have a status about your group. So the reason you have this 8th house knowledge and wisdom, and in turn, it's bringing you to this acting out. In this, like, you look like, wait, this person has this behind the scenes knowledge. Like, they have something about them, this mystique, this knowledge and wisdom about them. And due to that is giving them real good people in their group, and their status is doing great. You see what I'm saying? They have a whole bunch of things they could say that is working out in their blueprint. Look at like their career. Like this person's career is going in a positive light. That could be one way to look at it whenever you have the sun in Aquarius and that 10th house now. So then your knowledge of wisdom in the 8th house is actually bringing you that higher space, and in turn, what you have, the knowledge of wisdom you have behind the scenes, you're able to actually attribute to your status and say like, yeah, this is why, why I'm in this career path. So like, for example, if you're into astrology and your career is as an astrologer, say like, okay, yeah, I have this knowledge and wisdom behind the scenes, and in turn, it's allowed me to be an astrologer and have this status. Boom. See what I'm saying? And then you just can build on that. 10th house with your group. So like then your group of astrologers, you can say like, oh yeah, we've all learned this astrology behind the scenes. Then you're able to relate behind the scenes, react and respond behind the scenes, and then you expand who is behind the scenes for you. You see what I'm saying? And who you feel comfortable with. You see what I'm saying? This is the moon alignment we're talking about as well. And with the 9th house, this is the knowledge and wisdom. So in your way of traveling in the mind or actually in external reality. So with Sagittarius being here in the moon, you're reacting and responding to that knowledge and wisdom in your way of traveling. So like I say, you feel comfortable actually reading up on like if you're using the car analogy again, if you're reading up on what actual light, every single light means on your car, and you have that knowledge and wisdom, you're able to react and respond, boom, like right away, whenever you see a certain light. Like, oh, okay, I got the little yellow light with the exclamation mark. Let me pull off to the side, call a tow truck. Look, my tires are low. Maybe maybe they could just air it up, or if it's too bad, I got a hole in the sidewall. Then boom, I have that knowledge and wisdom. I'll bend my rim if I keep on driving, for example. And then in turn, this group, that tow truck company, the 11th house, you've now taken action to call them. You see what I'm saying? So then they have the compressor. They have what's necessary to air up your tire. Boom. And since you pulled off to the side, now your rim is all good. So you already are all good with your mechanic. You see what I'm saying? Then you could tell your group mechanic, but hey, look, I pulled off to the side real good. I seen the exclamation mark. I had that knowledge and wisdom about what that meant. So I reacted and responded right away, pulled off to the side and took action, called the tow truck company. They just aired up my tire. You know what I'm saying? I think I got a hole in the bottom of the tire, then boom. And he's like, oh, okay, you did good, son. That's how you mechanics sound. You did good, son. Real raspy like. And he's in that group, and he's like, okay, then he's like, and then you got a good name amongst that group. So like, okay, yeah, no matter how, like, for example, I don't look too old, you see what I'm saying? But like, I got my shit together. So for example, they'd be like, oh wow, he's a young individual, but he still know what he's doing, and he knows about his car. So like, I feel comfortable doing business with this young man, for example. And now you got a good face card in your group. So then you say like, yeah, I had that knowledge of wisdom, for example, 9th house, to pull off to the side, and you could talk to amongst the group of people that are in the mechanic shop, and like, then that other motherfucker in the corner that like, dag, like, yeah, I ripped my whole tire tread off. I'm trying to get here, you know what I mean? And now my rim's all bent. I gotta wait a whole week. They didn't have that knowledge of wisdom at this time. Maybe they got the same exact alignment as you, for example. And then the mechanic look at him like, man, I don't even want to work on this car all the time. I might just make him wait 2 weeks, so I don't want to see his ass. You see what I'm saying? He don't want to help you out. Then that'd be the lower octave. And that person, if you are that individual, you read up on your card, you know what I'm saying? Read up on your ways of transportation in the mind. Read up on your way of traveling, you know what I'm saying? Read up on that. This would be a time to do that and start feeling comfortable with the knowledge and wisdom that you learned, and like, oh, okay, this is what all the lights mean now. Okay, I know when I got the yellow light, and it turned right and it started flashing, and my whole car starts shaking. Maybe I should stop driving. For example, now you have that knowledge and wisdom, and now you can relate to your mechanic. Like, oh, I know I have that knowledge and wisdom now. I learned something, and just due to associating with this group, associating Aquarius, boom, now you in good order. 10th house, this would be the status, the blueprint, your career. So reacting and responding to the knowledge and wisdom and that attains your status. So you have this certain knowledge and wisdom. Maybe you like a philosopher or something like that, or psychologist or some shit like that. You have this knowledge and wisdom about the mind. So like you have this status of a psychologist, or your career path is a psychologist, and now you're building on that. So now you have this degree, you know what I'm saying? You have this knowledge and wisdom, or for example, you're a touted astrologer, like your name is doing real good in the community. Your face card look real good. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know about you. I know about you. About about you. So this is just a different song, which left field shit, but like I say, with the status and the blueprint here in your career path, like I said, you're maybe that psychologist, okay, and I have this knowledge and wisdom. I have this degree, or I'm touted as an astrologer, and I have this knowledge and wisdom, and I can actually feel comfortable talking about it and utilizing that in my career path. And then with the 12th house, you have that dream-like association. So like maybe somebody that inspired you to actually get into this career path, and they have this knowledge and wisdom that they imparted to you, and now you're able to associate with them in a group, and now it was like a dream-like thing. You know what I'm saying? So like at this time, you're going to be 10th house. You're going to have your career. You're going to feel comfortable relating your career, your knowledge and wisdom in your career with your dreams. So like if your dreams are going hand in hand with your career, then boom. Knowledge and wisdom wise, then you on that higher octave. If you on the lower octave, then what you are known for, or your status or your career, isn't actually attaining your dreams. So like what you have that knowledge and wisdom of isn't actually bringing your dreams to reality. You're not actually really seeing it in that 12th house action. Like it might be a little bit too illusory for you. Like you might have just had that dream and it was only a dream. You know what I'm saying? And like the knowledge and wisdom that you have actually can't attain that dream. So if you're on that lower octave, this will be a time to like say like, okay, maybe if I want to be a psychologist and I actually want to help people in psychology, maybe I do need to go to the college and this, that, and the third and get a degree. Or for example, if I want to be an astrologer and I want to be highly touted, then I need to put in the work. I need to make a foundation for my channel and make people actually, watch my videos, this, that, and the third. Oh, word up. Yeah, shouts out to y'all. I listen to the music in the beginning of the video. But yeah, in the 10th house, my bad, that took me left field. With the status, like I say, you have this knowledge and wisdom that's actually bringing you to your dreams. So if you're on the lower octave, and what you're known for, and the knowledge and wisdom that you're known for isn't actually bringing your dreams to life, then you actually need to look into how to, what I'm saying, like transmute this energy. For example, like I was, the psychology analogy. So, for example, you have a whole lot of knowledge and wisdom about the mind. Maybe you need to go to college to actually get that degree, so you can actually have people see the little degree on your wall and say like, oh, this individual is actually, they got the stamp. So, for example, like a whole other analogy in a way, getting the stamp. You could take that in many different ways. Stamp of approval is what I'm relating to. So, like I said, if you're on that lower octave, you want to have a better knowledge and wisdom about your career. And what's actually where you're going with your knowledge and wisdom, and how you're expanding in your career. For example, is it actually attaining your dreams, or are you just in an illusion? And if you're in that illusion, you need to learn how to actually get to that next level and get people to actually see that your career, what you're known for, is actually something that is a good knowledge and wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Like how to get money, for example, about your knowledge and wisdom, your career. 11th house. This would be the group setting. This would be association. So the knowledge and wisdom of your association. This would be a time to see your association and see, okay, am I reacting and responding to each group and their knowledge and wisdom and their ladder scale? Am I on the higher octave, and I know where they're coming from, so I already know how to go about it, and I already have that knowledge and wisdom about what they're going to speak on, so I know how to go about this circumstance. Are they a fiery individual? Do I need to be more air-like and actually just listen to what they're saying and with their passion? Or is it like a water individual in this group, or is it like a watery group, and this is the time that I just need to connect this, that, and the third? So just be more earth-like, kind of just make sense about the emotions, and then actually sit in the emotions of the other individual. You gotta have the knowledge and wisdom of your group at this time, and then at this time, it'll then in turn see like, okay, people will see your personality and how you act in the group, how you're acting personally in your groups, and taking action. Then you'll say, people will be like, oh yeah, no matter what group this individual is in, they always do well by the individuals that they're close to. This will be a time to look at that in your personal life. You see what I'm saying? So like how you're taking action in your personal life, in your personal groups, and people that are in your personal affairs. You see what I'm saying? This will be a time to. Sorry, I'm like stumbling over my words. I got my mind went ahead of myself. First house, personality, personal affairs. So you're taking action in your personal affairs amongst your group. So like, how you're personally going about your group. So are you actually imparting the right knowledge or wisdom amongst the group, like the right ladder scale? Or are you being an individual and saying like maybe you have to be opposing, but you are also being an individual and taking action in a unique way? This would be a time that at your higher octave, you're able to teach other people in different groups. Oh, this is why I feel comfortable with this group, because in my personal life, I can actually expand. You see what I'm saying? It takes me to other places in my personal affairs, and with different people to connect with. What up, man? What up, Mr. Mickey? Shouts out to you watching the videos. You know what I'm saying? Peace out. Peace out. You know what I'm saying? But we not out this motherfucker just yet. If you're on that lower octave in that association, so this is the time to say like, okay, maybe I can feel comfortable relating my knowledge or wisdom amongst the group, and this will actually make me look more of an individual instead of just going with what the group says and going with what the group's knowledge and wisdom. And so that, like, kind of take control of your group and which group you're part of, and actually, am I actually expanding? Am I getting somewhere with this group, or am I not? You know what I'm saying? That's the lower octave. If you're on that lower octave, you just need to find that group that you actually are on that same wavelength, knowledge and wisdom wise, and you can associate with other groups as well amongst them. You see what I'm saying? It's like what's the each one teach one kind of thing. So like once they teach one, once you have that knowledge and wisdom, you can teach one, and then once that each one that you taught, you know what I'm saying, then they can teach one, and then that they become an each one. You know what I'm saying? Boom, dig what I'm saying, and then that knowledge and wisdom is spreading throughout your group. And the 12th house, this would be your dreams, illusions, and nightmares. So reacting and responding to the knowledge and wisdom of your dreams, illusions, and nightmares. So are you expanding your dreams? Do you feel comfortable with the knowledge and wisdom? Is it actually bringing you to a whole nother dreamlike space? Or are you still dreaming like on some 3D shit? You know what I'm saying? Are you having dreams that are still amongst this realm? Like, are you still having dreams like about looking at your bank account and checking your check, this, that, and the third? And like, you're not really actually happy with the knowledge and wisdom that you actually getting. You see what I'm saying? What you know about your bank account like that, like, it's not really getting me anywhere. So I'm saying, it's just kind of got me an illusion. I open my bank account, I hope I've seen $1 million, and I see like 35 cents. And that ain't a good knowledge and wisdom in your dreams. So like, you kind of have this illusory mentality. You know what I'm saying? On that lower octave. I'm saying like, yeah, my knowledge and wisdom is bringing my dreams to reality. So, and then in turn, in the second house, you have this value of this dream. You see what I'm saying? You have this idea that like, oh, if I open my bank account, maybe one day I'll just see $1 million out of nowhere and doing no work. So I'm doing no work for my dreams, but I value this idea. I value this idea. So yeah, in my group setting, I tell everybody about, I value this idea about having $1 million in my bank account. But everybody just see you sitting on your ass, not doing shit. You see what I'm saying? You're not even trying to achieve your dream. You're just in an illusion. So this is the time to check that shit. So check if your knowledge or wisdom about looking at the bank account and saying, you know, I should see more money in there. Maybe you should have a knowledge and wisdom of knowing, oh, okay, yeah, I worked like 80 hours this week on certain things, and boom, okay, yeah, that's why I see $1 million in my bank account. Okay, that make a whole lot of sense now. You see what I'm saying? And now I can value this idea. And the people in my group setting are actually seeing it go somewhere. They seeing it go somewhere. You see what I'm saying? They're seeing this the way I value things. They see that I value this idea. Maybe they should have the same idea. Like, oh, if I put in the work, I can get $1 million too. Okay, that's a good idea to value. That's higher octave shit. So I'm saying now you have this dream, illusion, and nightmare about, okay, getting $1 million. It's a nightmare because you don't actually have that $1 million yet. But it's a dream, and you about to expand to that. You about to get there. You see what I'm saying? And you value this idea. Okay, yeah, you can associate this. Boom, I can associate with this valued idea, this thought pattern of my group. All right, boom, on the higher octave. But if you're on that lower octave, put in the fucking work for your dreams, and then you're gonna see this idea that you valued and take action in your group. And you're gonna actually expand to other people. People are gonna actually hear what you got to say and like, oh, yeah, I put that into action as well. I valued that too, and boom, it helped me out too. So that thought pattern helped me out as well. And they might have a completely opposite alignment. They might have it in the 8th house, and they might have been using that thought pattern for years and years and years, and eventually y'all seen each other in the right space, and it was like, you know what, that thought pattern you expressed that one time expanded everything for me, and then boom, like, oh, okay, I valued that, you valued that, boom, it helped everybody out. You see what I'm saying? Shared values, 8th house. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? But yeah, much love. Don't holler back at me. This is everyone's you and I verse. We gonna hop back on the videos every day. You see what I'm saying? Whenever the moon change. Ooh, that rhymed. If y'all catched it. Much love. Holler at me for anything on the emails. You see what I'm saying? Follow the Instagram. You see what I'm saying? You can catch me on a whole bunch of different platforms. You follow what I'm saying? But yeah, just holler back. Peace out.